Sitting outside of the gym, really excited to be here. You can probably tell I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm feeling a lot better than I have the rest of the week. You'll probably be hearing about this, actually I know you'll be hearing about this in another video. I had to take yesterday off from the gym, which unfortunately was a deadlift day, and we all know I cannot afford to miss any deadlift sessions. So I'm going to hit deadlifts today. It's supposed to be a bench day. I might move into bench afterwards, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in the commentary, kind of play it by ear, see how things go.
You'll win somehow, so give up on the battle, baby. It's hard, I know. Your eyes smile. Oh, how I wish that you could be here now in this life. We are together, and I still hope that you'll be mine forever.
Going into this session, I really had no idea what to expect. As you just heard, I was a little bit sick. I was supposed to deadlift the day before, and even those days leading up to that, I was just laying around on the couch. And usually when something like that happens, when you're ill, you come into the gym and you're just not your normal self. It takes a few days to get back into the swing of things, but being the impatient person that I am, I decided just to jump straight back into programming and see what I can do. And I was very pleasantly surprised. I was able to hit 4 sets of 4 reps at 410 pounds, and I wouldn't say my strength levels felt where they should have been, but it was almost like I was just grinding through it because I was so happy to be back in the gym. I'm sure a lot of you can relate with that. If you're not in the gym when you want to be or when you're scheduled to be, you kind of sit around and you think about it. It's like, it's just part of you. It's part of your day. It's something that you really love to do. So when I could finally come back, I was taking full advantage of it. And I was only supposed to do 445 pounds on these block pulls, but I decided to bump it up to 455 pounds just because adding the 25 was a little bit easier, and these triples didn't feel too bad. Honestly, they feel so much better pulling from where the bar is propped up on the boxes or on the mats, so I can tell that right below there is my sticking point, which is something that I already knew. So luckily for me, deadlifts went well. I was not expecting to tell you guys that. I was expecting to make a bunch of excuses and complaints, but trust me, that will be next deadlift session, just some insider information. And then what I decided to do was move on to the bench press that was originally scheduled for this day, which was a Sunday. And a lot of people would be like, no, that's too much in one day. But the way that I think of things in training is very similar to the way I think of things in terms of nutrition. So I don't think of things in a 24-hour span. I think of them on a weekly basis. So as long as you get through everything within the week, it doesn't matter how you get the work done, in my opinion. And I'm sure there's other people that have different opinions on this, but like macros. So as long as you hit your macros by the end of the week, if you go under calories one day, over calories the next, it all nets to 0 or nets to whatever it needs to, and you're good. And the same thing, in my opinion, goes with training. So it doesn't matter if I hit deadlifts on Sunday and bench on Sunday, or deadlifts on Saturday and bench on Sunday. As long as I'm able to hit the same number of sets and reps, I'm fine with it. And that is what I was able to do. In terms of, was this bench press harder than normal? I don't even know. I was not even thinking about it, to be honest. I just saw the numbers on the paper and I was like, all right, that's what I got to do. And that is kind of the approach that I take. So luckily, things are going well, and that is going to be the end of the video. My friends, I hope that you enjoyed this. Please like the video if you did. I'd really appreciate it. And now I hope you enjoy these food clips because I take you back to some childhood memories. Rich homie, baby.
What is up, my beautiful people? Hopefully my voice holds up here. And before we get into the food, I wanted to start with a little story because I know you guys love it when I run my mouth, and I know all of you are dying to learn more about me, even though none of you ask, you jerks. So I'll start with the childhood story. And when I was a kid, I used to love the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you grew up at the same time that I did and you did not watch that show, there's no way we could have been friends. It was either Fresh Prince or Saved by the Bell. That's all I needed in my life. And if you're familiar with the show, you know the main character, Will Smith, is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which is the same place that my mother was from. And every time I would ask her to make me a Philly cheesesteak, because I would see it on the show or I'd hear someone talking about it, and she'd be like, you know what, Travis, I'll make this for you, but you have to go to Philadelphia to experience a real one. Unfortunately, I never have. And she'd always tell me that in Philadelphia that these things were so greasy, the grease would just be leaking out of the bag, but they were the best things ever. So that's probably something I need to go experience firsthand, and you guys can probably guess. What I'm gonna be making tonight is a Philly cheesesteak, and check this out, this is awesome. I always laugh when people say they can't afford to get in the amount of food they need to gain weight or whatever they're trying to do. You know how much this costs? 15 inches of bread for $1. I'm sure a lot of you will insert plenty of jokes about what I just said. But you guys know that you cannot pass that deal up. So I'm gonna be making the Philly cheesesteak, and this, of course, I think that this is, what do they say? 8 servings. Yeah, right. So I'm high class tonight because I have got actual steak. This is probably the first time you've seen this on the channel, but it's from Walmart. So I got a few other things over here, but we will get into this later. I realize this is such a basic white girl thing to do, but to make everything fit, oh god, the jokes in this video I can already see coming. But to make all the food go into the hoagie, we're gonna have to open up some space, so I had to tear some of the bread out. What do you do with that? There's nothing. I mean, I guess you could eat it, but probably just gonna throw it away. Trust me, we will have plenty of other food coming up. So this is gonna shrink up a little bit, but this is just such a great combination. Mushrooms, onions, and peppers. I feel like you can just add this to so many different foods, and it just adds a lot of different flavors. So what I'm gonna do is cook this for about 5 more minutes, throw the beef back in, and then we'll add a few other things in here. Alright, so then we're just going to bring it all together. You guys know I cannot pronounce this, but we are going to add a little bit of that, and then we're also going to add a little bit of soy sauce, and then I'm just going to let that sit and move on to the next step. So this is definitely something I can see myself messing up. I'm going to try to make like a cheese sauce, and what it calls for is some bread flour and some milk. Bring that to a simmer, and then we'll add the rest of the cheese. I just don't see this going well. Alright, well, so far so good. What I'm going to do now is take it off the heat and then add some shredded mozzarella, some provolone, I'll just dice that up, and then some queso. The recipe does not call for this, but I was following the recipe way too closely, and you guys know I've got to change at least one thing, so we will see how this turns out. Can you guys see this right now? This looks so good. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I am so impressed with myself. So this does look amazing, but I have no idea how I'm gonna eat it, and no, I'm not gonna show you guys. That just has internet meme written all over it, but we will make it through, I promise you that. So we got some peas with some Parmesan, and then just a little bit of fries and some of those sweet potato tots you guys have seen, and yeah, that is gonna be it. So I am gonna get to eating probably one of the better things I have made in a while. If you're not already planning on making that, I would highly recommend it. I don't know how you can watch that last clip and not at least think about it. Obviously, you don't have to do it to the scale that I did. You can make something a little smaller, I guess, but it won't be as good. I'm telling you, there's just something about eating a lot of food at once that I enjoy. I don't know. So I'm sure some of you are already guessing what I'm going to be making for dessert, and you're probably thinking a junk bowl, and you are completely wrong, my friends. I'm going to make something completely different. Gonna make junk pancakes, and it's gonna be the same type of thing, except instead of putting it on a bowl, I'm gonna be putting it on top of pancakes, so inevitably it'll be better. And I'm probably just gonna show you the process because honestly I'm just gonna freestyle it, kind of pick things out what I got here, and we'll make something good.
Every time I think of you and I, it takes me to a special place in my mind where we can be together, and I still hope that you'll be mine forever. Even though you're far away, I still know we need to be
Well, I think we're just gonna leave it at that.
Powerlifting.